Hey, what's up everybody? Finally got a pickups video for you guys. I know it's been a little bit, but on the sad news thing, the last 2 months were just really bad. So, I'll let you know it's up on that after I show everything here. So, I'm going to start off with one of the little easy piles. My friend John here in town that had the little thrift store, and he's definitely turning it into a retro video game store. He's doing really good. In fact, I stopped there yesterday and people just keep bringing in stuff. So he's planning on trying to move into a bigger building. He's getting enough inventory now in the game stuff, so if he does that, it'd be really cool. I have a feeling it's going to be a good little game store. And just all retro. He does take in new stuff, but mostly is interested in retro like Nintendo and Atari and Segas and whatnot. So anyways, he'd given me a power supply that I could use on my Atari computers, my 600 and my 800 XL, and then he had an Atari 600 XL there at the store, which he sold me for like 25 bucks. And I have not had any luck with them damn things. I've got 3 of the 600 XLs, and then my 800. The one that I got from him, it worked beautifully in the store, wasn't having any problems. I get it home, hook it up, no picture. Just maybe a little flicker and then nothing. And then my other ones, just black screen, like it's getting absolutely no video signal. So I got to open them all up and either clean the hell out of them or find out what's going on with the RF. Anyways, the reason I bought the one that he had, it did have a few games with it. And I haven't been able to find games for the Atari computers anywhere until he opened up his store. So, not in the best shape, but they do work. And being that I don't have that many games, I'm not real familiar with the Atari computers, but on the cartridges, they seem to be pretty much compatible with the different systems. Because this is for a totally different Atari computer, but it will work on the 600 and 800. This is for the XC and Desert Falcon. Not the best game, but not a bad game. And then got Star Wars Return of the Jedi Death Star Battle. It is better than the Atari version for the 2600, most definitely. I can't remember if they ported it over to the 78 or 5200 or not. But what makes this better, and the only Atari system on computers that I have that's working great is my really old school one, the big chunky 800 or whatever. And that one's nice because you can hook it up through composite video, so a little bit sharper on the graphics. Otherwise, pretty much par to the 2600. And really good arcade quality copy of Pac-Man. And then this one is Missile Command, same thing, really good arcade port of Missile Command. I mean, the sounds, everything is really down on it. Real fun to play with the Atari Trackball, so pretty cool to have them. At least I got a few games now. And got another thing that I got from him. I gave him just 20 bucks for this. And this is something where he gave it to me to take home because he didn't know if it worked or not. It will work off an Atari 2600 power supply. So it's 9-volt DC. And this is a Pong system, but it's kind of an obscure, whatever you want to call it, one. Because when I looked it up, I had a hard time finding it. I found maybe a couple videos of it. One of them that was Mexican kid, so it was in Spanish, and the other one, I can't remember, but not really given too much information on it. Other than, I guess it's just called an E&P Pong, but it says it's licensed by Magnavox, and the only Pong systems I remember being done by Magnavox was their line of Odysseys. As there's a lot of different Magnavox Odyssey systems going up to the final game system, the Odyssey 2, that takes cartridges. And I'm not going to say it's real cheapo on the way it looks made, but not one of the better ones that I've seen, other than the the controllers, they can either be on the system itself or they have little clips on them, so you can take them off and have them like a regular handheld controller. Otherwise, it's got 4 different types of Pong: hockey, squash, tennis, practice. Typical reset button, it's just a little spring-loaded button. Change the bat size from big to small. On serving, it says auto or man, which I think if you put on man, that means one of the players can serve or something. You can change the angle from 20 to 40%, and then just power. And let's see, the model number on this is EP800. Yeah, it is E&P Electronics, Hong Kong. Alright, it's got to be Hong Kong. Yeah, made in Hong Kong. So I'm wondering if they were trying to clone one of the Magnavox Odyssey systems. And it does work beautifully. So anyways, here's what it looks like. Just got to clean it up some. And then these, you just push back on them. And then you can have detachable controllers. And if you look inside there, really simple to fix. If one of these broke, I can probably easily go to Radio Shack and replace the parts without a problem. So, kind of cool for anybody that's never seen one of these. Power supply jack off to the side there. Like I say, it takes the same type as a 2600. Did pick up a few PS3 games, and I've played and beaten all of these, and all 3 of them I really like. In fact, this first one I'm going to show, I'm playing it on hard mode now. See if I can get through it. Really like this game. Copy of Dishonored. And another great game. I've only played this through once. Crisis 3 Hunter Edition. And then Dead Island Riptide Special Edition. All definitely worth picking up if you guys don't have them yet. Now for something totally different. For the stuff that I'm going to be explaining to you guys after I show you all this stuff, had to have my sister come out to help us on some things, and I had to go all the way down to Topak and drive her back and then take her home and whatnot. And Bullhead City, heading towards the direction of Needles down 95. I think not far past where you turn off for the Avi Casino. If anybody is familiar with the area, there's a fairly newish indoor swap meet, and then behind that is kind of like a secondhand junk store. Both of them are huge, tons of stuff. Stopped there, didn't really find anything, but definitely worth checking out if you guys are ever in my area. But because I was going to her place, I'd go through Bullhead and hit on my usual little stops. And I forget the name of this place. I've only been there just a few times. But it's kind of got a little bit of everything. He's got some food there and like stuff like that, and makeup and whatnot. It's kind of a closeout type store, and then he's just got oddball stuff and some used items. But he's got like knives and swords and stuff like that. And saw this there, and he gave it to me for 35 bucks, and I'd never even heard of this brand, and it's worth about what I paid for it. Haven't been able to test it out. This happens to be a CO2 powered BB gun, but it takes the older style, I believe 8-gram CO2 cartridges, and I've heard that some of the seltzer bottles and stuff, or those new things for making soda, take that size, so I just haven't had time to look in on it. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it works. Anyways, this is a Plainsman 175 Made by Healthways, Los Angeles, California. And haven't had much time to look it up either, other than just finding pictures of it. I think it's either from the late 60s or early 70s. Nice heavy gun. Just liked the look of it. And this little lever here, you flip that all the way forward and then you can unscrew this to put in the CO2. And different on how the CO2 is. It goes in upside down compared to other BB and pellet guns like this. And it's got like this little spring-loaded piston, so it kind of lets the CO2 go back and push it against or whatever, man. It's really weird on how it works. And then to load it, slide up the back here and fill it up with BBs. Otherwise, seems to be functional. Safety works good. Just a cool looking BB gun. Let's see, grab this. This is one of the really cool things that I got from John. And yeah, I traded him some stuff for this, some games or whatever, stuff he needed. Anyways, really lucked out on this, on just about everything, on being able to trade for it. Plus, this is the larger version for adults, and it does work. Just haven't had time to really play around with it because of what went on in the last 2 months. Anyways, got a large size Nintendo Power Glove. It's in pretty damn good condition. And the receivers for going around the TV or whatever. And I think on this it only had 2 sizes, adult size and then kid size. And for anybody that finds one of these that's never had one, once again, because of the last 2 months just not being that great, I kind of just breezed through websites. But don't try punching in like Power Glove codes. Look for the manual and try and find a download for the owner's manual, like an Adobe PDF or whatever. I was able to find it on some website, so downloaded it, and then the original owner's manual for this has all the codes that you punch in for the different games, as you have to punch in a code. And I think the it's a little bit weird on the instructions on how they say it. I couldn't get it to just work right away without punching something in, but it says like code 1, where you just press, I believe, button 1, program twice, and then enter. Or it's either program 2, which is the same thing, press button 2 and then program and then enter or whatever. I gotta look at the instructions again, man. It's not real hard to figure out. But yeah, a lot of the games, like driving ones and stuff, you had to punch in a special program so you can do this to use it like a steering wheel, or like the one where you're throwing the ball. But most of them you can use the basic program with. And definitely not the best thing they came up with, man. I don't know what's worse, this or that rear controller that I have that's got the sensors built into it where you just tilt it. They're both equally horrible, but cool to have. Need longer arms. This I picked up just for the hell of it. So I've never seen one of these that's quite like this. It's just a little cheapie, made by Excalibur Electronics. And it's Frogger, and it's not bad for a little LCD game. Anyways, got this for $2 at the swap meet. Brand new, still in the package. Anyways, here's what it looks like. Press that button there, and basically got the LCD screen right there, and it reflects onto a mirror. So let's see if I can Like I say, man, not bad for an LCD game. And the sound effects are good. Not bad for $2. Just never heard of the brand. Okay, now I gotta move the camera. I'm gonna tell you what I got first and then I'll show it to you, because this thing is in beautiful shape. Last time I was able to hit Pong World here in town, before the shit hit the fan, and the guy said this is the second one they have ever had in their store since opening. They just don't come in, as people around here either can't afford these or there's just not enough popularity in my area. But I've been dying to have one, and they had it for a killer deal. Anyways, found myself a near new, really close to being new. Is I think all this person did was use this for downloading movies and watching them. I couldn't find anything else on it. Which on that, some of the stuff they had blocked with password, which on that I just deleted the person's profile, so now anything they put on it is off of it, and it's pretty much all my stuff now. But yeah, 2012 iMac, and let's see, this one, it's 21.5 or 7 inch on the screen. This is the one where if you get on Apple's site to get one of the new ones for 2013, 2014, it's, let's say, about a $1,200 computer starting at the bare bones without maxing out the memory or any of that stuff. And also, it's cool, I'll show you these first. Got a Magic Mouse, which for anybody not familiar with these, and I wasn't either, man. It's, finding out what these things do tripped me out. It's like a regular laser mouse, but for when you're scrolling or changing pages and stuff, the top of this is touch sensitive to where when you want to scroll, just run your finger down it, and then I believe you can go sideways to change pages or tabs if you're online. It's pretty damn cool. And then this they had to have bought extra for whoever had this. And this is what I've been using. This thing's just friggin' cool. Got a Magic Pad. And this and the keyboard, man, pretty much all aluminum on the construction. And then just a little bit of plastic or whatever, which on this I think it's like this special glass or whatever that they put on it that's got the sensors below it. Otherwise on this, one finger to move around your mouse pointer or whatever, 2 fingers going straight up and down to scroll, and then you can do like swipes with your hand to change pages, and I guess it's got other stuff you can do on it also. Just really cool. And wireless keyboard. Right off the bat, I think all these are about the same price, right around $70 from the Apple Store. They're not cheap. That's why I've been putting off getting an Apple computer until now, man, because they are not cheap. Everything about them is expensive. Anyways, computer itself, awesome condition. There is not a scratch on it. Just beautiful condition. And I haven't been able to really find out what the resolution is on it for the camera, but it does have a built-in HD camera. I'm guessing for the price they want, it's probably 1080p, because it's really super sharp. But I haven't been able to find any programs on this to where I can do my YouTube videos. So right now I'm on my regular old PC. Tell you what's on this in the way of the processor and everything. The guy did upgrade to OS X Mavericks, so it's 10.9, and I think the new update's 10.9.1, which I can't update because I'm not going to put my credit card number on it, the download from the Apple Store, so I'm not going to worry about it. And processor is 2.7 gigahertz Intel Core i5 quad core. It is really friggin' fast. And then for graphics, AMD Radeon HD 6770M 512 megabyte. Yeah, it's 21.5 inch on the monitor. And top resolution is 1080p. The hard drive on it is 1 terabyte. And then it's got CD DVD burner, which is on the side of it. And right now on the memory, it's got a pair of 2 gigabyte chips in it for the 4 gigs. I believe you can put in 4 gigabyte chips and take it up to 16 gigs max. Same as the other stuff, man. I've only just started playing around on this, so just trying to just familiarize myself with it. So, I'll show you this puppy. Let's see. See if I can get this to look a little bit better. Damn camera drives me freaking crazy. There we go. That's a little bit better. As you can see, the stars there in the background are moving around. That's the active wallpaper. And closer here. Haven't put too much on it other than what I can download. I gotta find a place in town here where I might be able to get some software other than like Staples or Office Max or whatever, because they just don't have much. But got a few emulators on here. I haven't tried these two. One of them is Nestopia for the regular Nintendo NES, and then Genesis Plus for Sega Genesis. And then got MAME OS X. So there is a version of MAME for the Macintosh, but it's kind of half good and half bad. It doesn't play all the games like my one on my XP system for my MAME arcade cabinet. But some of them that I was having problems with when it comes to sound or whatever, like on my MAME cabinet, which that one's got the XP computer, like if I played Donkey Kong, not all the sounds were coming in. Like when he's running, it plays beautifully. But then a lot of the games, like so far, I haven't been able to get anything for Neo Geo to work on it. And I do know they have a version of MAME that's just Neo Geo, but I don't know if it's out for the OS X. I think it's just for the older Macintosh systems. Otherwise, cool to have. And, let's see. Been trying to find some of the freeware type games. Found one that's a first-person shooter. I'll bring it up here. Runs this game like a bat out of freaking hell. This is why I want to hunt around and see if I can find some software that's newer so I can see what this puppy can do when it comes to gaming, because it's pretty damn fast. This one, it's like a total rip-off of like Quake 3 or whatever, or some of the games like it. Otherwise, man, like I say, just plays just really great, real smooth. So I don't see any glitching whatsoever. Wow. Okay. I just became a victim, so that means it works good. I got killed. Anyways, get out of that. That's what I'm not used to. Just really quick on switching back and forth to programs, man. This thing's just amazingly fast. Anyways, don't want to make too long a video here, so I'm waiting forever to upload. So put my cam back here. Tell you what I paid for this thing, which can piss off anybody else that's gotten a Mac lately. Anyways, say man, the new ones go for over $1,200 for just the bare bones on this size. My pawn shop must not have taken time to look it up, and obviously whoever this person is that brought it in, they lowballed the shit out of them, because when it comes to selling used items, usually at a pawn shop, unless it's Pawn Stars, which they're greedy fucking bastards, you want to double your money. So right off the bat, I'm pretty sure they gave this guy $250 because they had it for $499 for a fucking iMac from 2012, man. So after tax, I got it for like $550. Mega fucking score. So I never thought I'd get one of these, man. And it's like, I'm loving it. I got so sick of freaking PCs, man. This one that I'm doing the video on so far has lasted the longest, man. Every time I seem to get one lately, they've died off fast. Like they maybe last... Shit. This one's almost up to 5 years. Last one I had lasted about, shit, barely up to 4 years. To where it just started acting weird. So I've just kind of had it with Microsoft type stuff, man, on their software and just outright PC computers. And this Apple, just like the keyboard and everything, aluminum construction, man, it is built like a tank. And John that runs the little retro game store, he says he has one. He says it should make it up to about at least 10 years or so, because they've had theirs forever, and probably past that if you're not going to be somebody to be using it all the time, because I'm only on it occasionally. So it'll probably last me quite a while, or at least until I can finally afford to buy one that is brand new. So to get off of that subject, now on to the depression, because I've had a lot of that lately. Anyways, start with the month of December for Christmas. I'd say about almost a week and a half or so before Christmas, I ended up getting the craziest kind of flu that I've ever had in my life. I've never had the flu literally scare me to death. I thought I was having a heart attack. I wasn't sneezing, coughing, congested, any of that stuff. No headaches, no body aches. It was more just to bring something up to anybody new that's watching that doesn't really know me too well. I'm disabled. One of my problems is I have photophobia, to where if I go outside without sunglasses on and exposed to the sun too much, I can either get a really bad migraine, or if I don't get out of the sun, I can black out. Anyways, the feeling that I get just before I'm about to black out is what I had with this damn flu, and it would last for hours, to where I just have that same just real woozy feeling, to where like just hurry up and make me black out so I don't have to feel this anymore. It just was not good at all. And I didn't know, I didn't think it was the flu. I thought something was wrong with my heart or whatever, because it sent me into a panic attack, so naturally my blood pressure started going up. So finally got that back to normal with my pills, but man, not good. And that was, yeah, maybe just a few days before Christmas I was finally better. It's just really hard to kick. And then anyways, to make things worse, my dad was in really bad shape for December. I mean, right as soon as it started getting cold to where it was getting down in the 50s and below, he just was not doing good. And it's 85, heart trouble, and was just sleeping all the time, or just no energy whatsoever. Anyways, Christmas Day, it's like my mom went into his little side room man cave. It's like, we got a present for you. You want to come out and see what we got you? It's like, oh, I want to make my coffee first and get woke up, and then I'll come out. So came out to make his coffee, went back into the side room, drank his coffee, and then it's like we got distracted and we were doing something else, and it's like he never came back out. Go in there, he's all sound asleep. So later on that night he finally came out after having a long sleep, and well, didn't you remember, said we got you a present or whatever and it's Christmas? And it's like, no, I can't remember anything. So basically he lost a whole 5 hours, like he had a stroke or something in his sleep, which wasn't good. And then after that it just started going downhill, to where I thought, and it could be that he did, and it just combination of things, but I figured that he'd gotten my flu. But with him, it's like he'd get to where he'd be throwing up and he couldn't stop. And he couldn't keep any food down. Got to the point to where he just couldn't eat. He'd do good to eat a cracker and keep it down for maybe an hour, and then he'd throw it up. Couldn't hardly drink anything without throwing up. Couldn't take any pills without throwing it up. It's like his stomach was just totally freaking irritated, to where nothing to stay down. And then, being that he couldn't keep any food down, it just took him downhill. Or something. Now I'm going to end up making the video long, because I want to bring this up for anybody that's not familiar with it. We had him on home hospice, and for anybody that's not familiar with their local hospice programs, or just outright hospice, that's basically when you're terminal, to where you're gonna die, there's nothing more that can be done, and that was basically where he was at. He was too old and his heart was in too bad a shape to have any surgery done on it. So his heart was only working at about 25% at most. So anyways, that entitled him to get on the hospice. And for all you haters out there, thank Obama for this, man. Or he wouldn't have been able, that probably wouldn't have happened, because it was only this last time at the hospital that he got a really good doctor, one that would actually sit down in the bed with him and talk to him. So, I mean, he's a very good doctor. In fact, I have him for a doctor now. He's head doctor for hospice, so he said, hey, you're eligible, so get signed up for hospice, and anything that you need will be provided, and it's all covered by Medicare and whatnot. And then also he's a veteran, so he had the veterans to back him up on anything else that he needed. And this really saved me and my mom. So I said, I'm disabled, I'm not in good shape. My mom's 80, so she's not in good shape, and there's no way we could have dealt with all this on our own, having nothing. And anyways, it's like, They knew he needed oxygen because he was really using it a lot last time he was in the hospital and stuff, and it was making him feel better. So they got him set up on oxygen, and because he could never put on any weight, my dad was really, really thin. So, jeez. I think the highest he got up to after the last trip to the hospital was maybe 115 pounds. I mean, just really skinny guy, pretty much skins and bones. But they bring him not just a little six-pack of Ensure, so he had something to keep him nourished. They bring him cases of it, so he had cases of Ensure. We still got stuff left. In fact, that's what I was living on when I was sick, because I just had no appetite. But I had to bring him cases of Ensure. Any pills he needed that had to do with his heart or whatever, they provided. He had a problem because he slept so much, he'd get bad bed rashes, so they'd bring him stuff for that. Just whatever he needed, they brought and provided. And being on home hospice, you get set up with a nurse, so he'd have a nurse that would come over monthly to check up on him, make sure he's okay, and see what he needs. And then also he had a social worker lady that would come by about the same time, just to talk with him, see how he's doing and whatnot. And on that, I am not a religious person, never have been, but if there's a such thing as angels, they're it. Every person I have met through hospice, or anybody has anything to do with it, really, really good people. I mean, we had our neighbor pass away not too long ago, and she ended up in one of the rest homes, and my mom was really good friends with her, and this was a sad thing to where they didn't give her any respect, they didn't treat her good, nothing. It was just, she was there to die, and that was it. Big difference on the hospice. And the hospice house that's local here, really, really nice. I mean, it looks like a ski lodge, really fancy. Got the fireplace there, they got a mini grand piano, they force feed you cookies and cake and pie and stuff, man. So they're all about making the person feel as good as they possibly can while they're ready to pass. So anyways, it happened is he ended up getting so sick to where it's like, we need to get a hospital bed in here because what he's got's not helping him. So that was going to be the thing, is he goes to the hospice house for 5 days, and then that gives us 5 days to give ourselves heart attacks going through his man cave and trying to get every fucking thing he owned out of there, as my dad was a pack rat. He pretty much just wrote off everybody, and our little add-on here to our home was his little apartment, and that's where he stayed. He just kept everything he owned in there and had really nothing to do with anybody. So it would have killed us off. But he got so bad to where it's like we called up and saying, I don't even want to attempt trying to get him out to my car and drive him over. He needs to have the oxygen and stuff going. So can you guys pick him up? And then that's where he really just started going downhill. Which the guys that came to pick him up to take him over there were as nice as could be. It's like, there's no way we're going to get this gurney in here. So here, you get behind him and kind of just hold him up and walk him, and then I'll get in front of him to make sure he doesn't fall, and then I'll have my buddy hold the gurney. So he got him out the door, and by then he was so out of it because he got to the point to where he was having to take morphine and then all kinds of other stuff. Just like I say, he went downhill real fast. Got him over there. I'd say he lasted about 3 days, but once he was over at hospice, they didn't just have him there like a rest home, just suffering and pain and whatnot when he needed stuff to make him stabilized or whatever. They basically just got him to the point where he was pretty much comatose, but no pain, so pretty much just went in his sleep as he passed away on the 7th of last month. But it's one of those things to where it could have been a lot worse for us and him, because he really was getting bad at the end, to where he could have really died painfully, the way his stomach was getting and stuff. But they had him to where as comfortable as possible, He had a really good friend that was a volunteer for hospice, that each morning that he was there, he'd come over and read to him until we were able to get there. And just good people. So any of you, if you got somebody in the family that's to that point and you don't know what to do, see if they can qualify. You will thank me later. I mean, it's the best thing we could have done for them, and it's one of those things to where me and my mom are both still pretty stressed out, but everything on him went smooth because originally he'd gone in year 2000 with congestive heart failure to where he was on the verge of dying. He waited till the last minute because he was also stubborn as all hell. And then once we got him there and they treated him for his heart problem, got him stabilized, they found out that he also had colon cancer, which he wasn't telling us about. He was hiding a lot of it. So he was in the hospital for quite a while, and when he got out, because of his heart being only working at about 25% at most, they said, you probably only got a couple years, so live it up while you can, which he did at the start, and then he slowed down, which was a good thing for him, because him slowing down, not wanting to do anything, and just taking it easy, that's probably what kept him alive for 14 years. So he pretty much showed them, man, because they were all expecting him to drop dead any time, and he lasted all this time. So to make it up to age 85 was really good. So anyways, let's see, I can't remember the name of this program because he wanted to be cremated, and it went really smooth too. Same thing, just people nice as can be. So Neptune Society. For anybody that's got somebody that wants to be cremated, check into the Neptune Society. They are awesome. It's like you pay for it up front, and then once the person passes, everything's pretty much taken care of. And because they don't have a cremation place here in Kingman, he ended up going to Bullhead City. And now the other fun part, about 7 days after he passed, I ended up getting really sick again, to where I am just getting over the damn flu. It's like yesterday was the first day I got out and felt good. And then not long after I got sick, my mom got sick, so she's a little bit worse off than I am. And it's this flu, it's just, it lingers and lingers and lingers. You get to the point where you feel like you're never going to get better. So like I say, I'm finally to the point where I feel like I'm seeing the end of the rainbow, the shiny bucket of vomit that I get, golden chum. So I guess it just hasn't been the last 2 good months, man. I'm hoping this one to get better. But on this Neptune Society, because neither of us were well enough to go into Bullhead City, as in over the hill, even though it's only like 35 miles, and bring his ashes back. Called him up, and we were just saying, okay, we'll pay for you guys to have them sent. It was gonna be like $150 to send my dad's ashes from Bullhead to Kingman. Once again, 35 miles or 40 the most, because I don't know where this place is. The guy was like, okay, I'm gonna see what I can do here for you guys. I will call you up the next day. Next day, guy calls up. He's like, okay, what's it gonna cost? And so, don't worry about it. I've sent it. I've also sent everything else, and just don't worry about it. It's all covered. We were able to find stuff we could use that was leftovers or just damaged things or whatever. Like the little cards that you send all your relatives or whatever to say that the person's passed. Same. I got one that got damaged in shipping, so how many do you need, and I will send them to you. I mean, nice as can be. So, to say, it hasn't all been bad. It's just the stress finally got to us. And my dad was one of those weird kind of people. I'm going to do a vid just to show some of the stuff I inherited. And just to warn you guys ahead of time, I inherited some really weird shit from him, man, because my dad was a pack rat and a half. He was one of those kind of guys, like, we used to be in the campground business, so we had all kinds of stuff left over from that in the sheds. I probably got enough stuff of his to throw out to fill up a dumpster. Because anytime something would break, yeah, he'd replace it with something new, but he'd keep the broken things. So I got just boxes and boxes and crates full of broken stuff. And that's a lot of what I inherited, was just trying to find stuff that was valuable or whatever, which really wasn't much. Like, I do have a really cool watch that I'll show you in the next video that I inherited that's from the 1800s, and the motherfucker still works. But all the watches that he had from his era, like maybe from the 50s at most, just beat the shit, but he'd still keep them. Didn't matter if they were broken. Then I got one cool ring that I got from him, which that was the only one we could find. He's also one of those types that he'd give away anything. It didn't matter if it was something that he was supposed to keep or not. He'd just give it away. It didn't matter. Kind of like nothing mattered to him. Basically, he was a gambler, and that's the only thing he liked, was gambling. Didn't have any hobbies, nothing, which is just crazy. So, gotta say, man, it's like I miss him, and then it's like free at last, because he drove us crazy. So, not to rip on him too much, I'll let you guys go, and like I said, I'll try and get that video up soon enough, just to show you some of the things that I inherited that aren't too weird, other than his massive collection of fucked up baseball caps. So got that going for me. I got enough baseball caps to last me for the rest of my life. Catch y'all later.